I guess, Eric, was that Alabama-Missouri score a surprising thing that you've seen in the SEC this year?
I mean, obviously, Alabama is one of the best, teams in the conference, one of the best teams in the country. And, Missouri played incredible game. They scored at a high clip, but nothing really, is a surprise, I don't think, in conference play. I mean, I've said it several times. I think Coach Martin does a great job. His teams have always competed. Again, they compete whether he's coaching at Cal or Tennessee or Missouri. His team is always a tough-minded team, and I thought they played an incredible game against Alabama after watching it on film.
Just off of that game, where you see is the keys that you have to do against them Wednesday night?
Well, we've got to match their ability to play hard, because that's, when we landed after our last game, on SEC radio was the Alabama radio guys, and they were talking about how hard from the time I landed at the airport, got in my car and drove home. The Alabama announcers, both of them, were talking about how hard Missouri plays. You've got a defensive block out there, an extremely good offensive rebounding team. Obviously, 24 Brown at the 4 spot is a focal point for them offensively. He can face up, he can shoot threes. He's a high volume free throw attempt player. He can post up, he can bring the ball up at times. He can be a screen setter. He's got good experience. He understands their system. And then Pickett, number 4, those two guys have played for Coach Martin, and they understand what he wants. And those two guys are big keys to them, because they both have physicality at the 3-4 spot.
Thank you.
Curtis?
Hey, Coach, the other day you had mentioned just the importance of guys being used to winning and knowing how to win. So I thought back to the trip to Kansas City. You had a couple games there where the shots weren't really falling. The guys dug their heels in and found a way. Is that kind of what you were talking about? And then what do you see anything that's maybe missing now that wasn't at the time as you try to get over the hump in these close games?
Yeah, I mean, I think from a competitive standpoint, I thought that we played really hard in Kansas City. If you look at because rebounding is always a big indication of how hard you're playing, and Texas A&M is always a hard playing team. We played hard. We didn't play with great basketball IQ with our turnovers when you go back and watch them. It's hard to talk about transition defense when you have live ball turnovers, because it's like in football when a DB gets a pick and he's got a wide open field in front of him. So our turnovers are an issue. I thought we played really hard against Vanderbilt, but we went through a stretch where we turned the ball over and were careless with the ball. And sometimes, Curtis, those things are too much to overcome. So that's continually a work in progress for us as well. And I thought at times at Mississippi State, we played the way we should have. And then at other times we didn't, but without JD, and, we could have cut that thing to 4 or 5 points several times, but we didn't. So I think from a competitive standpoint in league play, I didn't think we played the proper way against Oklahoma. I didn't think we played the proper way at times against Mississippi State. And then it's just been very, very short stretches. In A&M, it was the first 4 minutes of the second half. So what are we going to do? We got to get back to practice and try to get better and point things out, and hope that the players are getting and receiving their individual film, and then collectively when we show it as a group as well.
And then I guess with the turnovers, sometimes it can be, right idea, bad pass, or guys trying to do too much, over dribbling. I'm just curious if you've seen a common theme with some of those, or has it just been kind of a mixed bag?
It's been a mixed bag.
Bob?
Eric, how you doing?
you alluded to this the other day, but I was wondering if you could expand on the issues coming out of halftime. You guys, you're right there at halftime, and in the first half and in the second half, you struggle and kind of dig a hole. What do you think's going on there? And I'm sure you've tried different things at halftime. Kind of what do you think the issues are, and how can you try to fix them?
I'm not really sure, Bob, because for 7 years coming out of halftime, you can look at the stats and see that it's kind of been the opposite in the past. So what we'll do is we'll continue to talk about, how are you warming up the first, 5 minutes when you go out after you break the halftime. And then obviously we got to continue to, maybe we need to show more adjustments at halftime. Maybe we need to show less adjustments at halftime. We're still trying to figure that out on what our team can grasp. And then not only grasp, but then go out and execute it.
I mean, like you say, your history has been so good with that. Does it surprise you? I know it's, a lot of these guys, it's their first season with you, but does it surprise you that being such a big issue of late?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, it's just, it's different when, when you walk into a locker room and a player like a Tate or a Smith or a Moody can point out things to teammates. And so, we had a really, a team that really understood spacing and, and then I even Isaiah Joe, I thought he was really good at when you made an adjustment on the fly, picking that up and then going out and executing it. And with this team, we just got to continue to get better. Last year we went through a stretch where, we didn't play as well as we would like. And then we kind of turned it around. Not that one season doesn't mirror another. It doesn't mean it's just going to turn around. Like, you got to try to figure it out and you got to try to get better.
It kind of building off that, 2 years ago, you lost 5 in a row. Isaiah was hurt. That was a big part of it. But then you guys bounced back and were playing pretty well at the end before the season got shut down, maybe a win or two away from the tournament. Last year, you lost 4 or 5. Things were looking pretty bad. You guys went on that big run. I know the players are different, totally different from 2 years ago, a lot different from last year, but there's been some staff changes, but you're the constant, so, and you've got a pretty good track record. So what can you glean from those experiences the last 2 seasons that'll help you guys, fix what's wrong right now?
Well, I think, Bob, that, anything in life, you whether you win or lose, you got to go back to work. I mean, I can't remember a lot of times on a Sunday night I've still been in the office where I was in the office all day with the staff, that went home for dinner and then came back at night. We're searching, we're trying to do everything we can. As a competitor, whether you're a player or a coach or a graduate assistant or a support staff member, losses need to hurt. And then you need to try to figure out how you can dig a little bit deeper and be a little bit more competitive. And that's what we'll continue to do. That's how, as a coach, that's your job, is to continue to try to get the team to improve as much as you can on a daily basis.
Okay. I got a couple more, but I'll turn it back to Mike. Thanks, Eric.
Hutch.
Yeah, Coach, I know you're a big man-to-man guy, and you said you put in a little bit of zone against Vandy, and I think I saw a little bit against A&M as well. How would you assess how those looks have gone for y'all, and do you think that you might use it a little bit more or mix it in a little bit more, or what do you see on that front?
Hutch, if you want to come watch film and watch our blow-bys in the zone, normally there's not many blow-bys in a zone, but there was more blow-bys in our zone than our man, and it's supposed to be a matchup zone. Again, we ran it with the Lakers G League team, and we had it where we'd run it a few possessions. We need to just stick to our basics and try to become a little bit better at what we are. I think sometimes you just start changing everything and then you're just moving furniture around. Like, we've got to get better at what we are. But, when we put it in, there's so many factors in it, so we've spent all summer on man, and we've got guys that are here from last year. And I think that Hutch, you and I, and, Curtis, and if Bob was setting screens, I think we could have scored against that zone as well. It wasn't good.
Scotty?
Bob does have a good base to set screens with. I'll say that. You mentioned Saturday and again today that live ball turnovers are a real killer, but I wanted to ask you specifically about dead ball turnovers too. Have you sensed maybe a slip defensively after those, like the team is carrying those mistakes into the next defensive possession?
No, I mean, we haven't, that's not been anything, Scotty, that we've charted or, I mean, we had an outside company do like a self scout, which I've never done mid-year as well. We've always done that at the end of the year. So that's something that I was reading. It was 29 pages, and I went through all that last night with notes, and some of the players have already seen their individual write-ups. And, I'm sure, Scotty, that anytime, you turn the ball over, it's a little bit deflating, but the percentages are saying right now that the live ball turnovers are the real killers.
And I guess just with Missouri, Kobe Brown specifically, like what jumps out to you about him? Like what kind of makes him a tough matchup?
Well, I think number one, Scotty, I really like how he's improved. He's gotten better. You see great growth in his game. So I'm sure he spent a lot of time in the summer getting better at his craft, because you don't just get better at your craft unless you really, 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 really spend time and work at it. Anybody can get a little bit better incrementally just through experience, but to see a player's growth like his, been really impressive, because again, he's one of those unique players in our league that can play facing up or can play with his back to the basket. And I love his ability to draw free throws attempted. So you're going to have to be a very good disciplined defender against him, and not gamble, because, against a guy that's a focal point offensively, discipline becomes really important from a defensive standpoint. And then you're going to have to block him out as well, which, defensive rebounding and rebounding overall has not been a huge issue for us. And we can't allow that to be an issue on Wednesday, because we know that Missouri does like to offensive rebound.
Last thing, I know Chris went down. I think it maybe looked like a groin injury. I can't remember if he came back into the game or not. Do you know if he's all right?
Yeah, he's been doing rehab. He should be fine. I'll hold him out of practice today. But he should be fine for Wednesday.
All right, Bob, take us home, please.
Okay. Eric, like I said, you got a track record of success with, some patches of struggles, but I mean, are you still confident in this team? Do you think the team's confident, or where are you guys with that in your mindset?
I mean, I'm always, confident every time, you walk out. I mean, there's angst before every game. There's excitement before every game. But I mean, I think with any team of any sport at any level, I think when you lose 2 or 3 in a row, or you lose, like, for sure, your confidence is going to be, you got to create your own confidence right now is really what it comes down to. And, JD not being at Mississippi State, nobody cares. Like, you got to go out and play, and when another team makes a run, you've got to have mental toughness as a group, everybody included, that when another team goes on a run, that you're able to come back and fight. And I think we showed that a little bit at Texas A&M, but came up short, which we have come up short of late a lot. So, we're just looking for, guys that understand how important it is to continue to compete for 40 minutes.
And Kamani, he had a really nice game in limited minutes the other night. He had a good game against Elon. Do you see maybe a bigger role for him? Could he even start, or just kind of how do you feel about how he's playing after you had to suspend him, but now he's back?
Yeah, I mean, I think he's been patient. He's watched, some of his teammates get opportunities. I certainly think based on the effort that he had last game, that he is moving up the rotation ladder for sure. We need him to continue to stay out of foul trouble, which he's done a great job of late. And we all know he's a high volume free throw attempt player. We all know he's relentless on the glass. He got, he had a tough defensive assignment that last play where we gave up a 3. And, when he's guarding a perimeter guy like he was against Texas A&M late in the game, he's got to continue to work on little technique things like carrying a hand. But certainly I thought that his play, Bob, was a definite positive for us to walk out of College Station with.
Is your shoulder feeling any better?
No, it's feeling worse. Now I got now it's sticking and getting a click to it. So not good sleeping on the road, but hey, nobody gives a crap. So you just keep fighting.
Thank you, Coach. Appreciate it.
BetOnline has you covered for all the holiday season. More props, odds, and lines than ever before. BetOnline remains your #1 spot for all sports action. Head to our new updated desktop or mobile website to sign up today and receive your 50% welcome bonus with the promo code BELIEVE to receive your bonus. That's BLEAV to receive your bonus. And it's not just football. BetOnline has pro and college hoops, NHL, boxing, UFC, even your favorite Vegas casino games. Don't wait to take advantage of all these amazing offers available for the 2021 season. BetOnline is the fastest and easiest way to bet on all your favorite sports.